Former rock star's wife, model and businesswoman Jo Wood raised eyebrows recently after she revealed a holiday with ex-husband Ronnie and the kids back in the 90s resulted in an extraterrestrial sighting that would change her life. And she's here to tell us more. Hi, Jo, how are you?
Hi, happy birthday, Gloria.
Oh, yeah, she's listening to Jo, she's listening. So tell us about this encounter you had, Jo.
Well, it was in the late 90s, I reckon about 99, something like that. And we were in Recife in Brazil. And Ronnie called out to say there was some strange lights over the sea in this holiday house we had. I went out and there was this craft hanging over the sea with the lights coming down onto the sea. And Ronnie went in to get his glasses so he could see better, and it lifted up, went to the side, and then just like so fast zoomed across the sky, and I just knew that I had just seen a real UFO. And the next day in the paper, when we were on the plane, they came round with the paper and it said UFO invaders Brasilia, and hundreds of people had seen the same thing. So I knew I wasn't mad.
Well, you have been fascinated ever since, Jo. So given that you have such an interest in it, can I show you a little bit of video? Because this was actually taken by our producer, Tom. Head of women, actually, Tom, I do apologise. And this was around Croydon at the weekend. Nadia posted it on her social media and people have gone crazy over it. Can I ask you what you think about that, Jo?
Well, I think it's definitely not satellites, because it moves in such an unusual way, and it's not a plane. It could only be an unidentified flying object. Look, it moves differently, doesn't it, to anything else we know?
Could it possibly be a bit of dirt on the lens?
No. It's definitely a UFO.
Jo, you've seen this one. Have you seen any others since? Have you had any other sightings since this one in Brazil?
Yeah, I saw also over South America. My son was about 15, 16, Thai, and we were looking out the plane window, and this mad green, like, huge orb flew up and went along the side of the plane, and Thai said, Mum, what's that? What's that? I said, my God, I've never seen anything like it in my life, and it just shot off into the sky.
You convinced, Janet?
Well, I am so unconvinced, sadly. I grew up in Fulham in West London, and the Flying Saucer Society was just around the corner from my house, and they had a window display with lots of flying saucers. It's called the Aquarius Society. Now, regarding Kaye's images in South London, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking it's either a drone or police surveillance, one of those things. I mean, call me a cynic, but, Jo, recently there was a historic landing on Mars, an international landing on Mars, and we got fabulous pictures back of the Red Sea. Now, there were no men or women or beings with one eye in the middle of their foreheads coming towards us saying, hello, welcome to our planet. It was empty. So where do you think they're coming from?
Well, our universe is so vast. There are more stars in the sky, and stars are suns, than there is sand on all the beaches in the world. So the possibilities are endless for what is out there. It's vast.
Jo, do you think that there is some kind of cover-up? I mean, we watch all these different shows, Area 51 and, you know, Roswell and everything. Do you think there's a cover-up by the government and there is something that they're not telling us all?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Why would they? It would frighten everybody too much to know that this was really true. But there's so much evidence now that I do a podcast called Alien Nation, and I've spoken to so many people, been to UFO conventions, and I've spoken to lots of people. It's definitely out there because we can't possibly think we're the only ones. We can't be the only ones that are living. There's got to be other civilizations out there.
What do you think, Gloria?
Well, Joe, I was just thinking, you know, I have a couple of questions to ask you, actually. When you talked about that first one in Brazil, and I mean this in the nicest possible way because I love you dearly, but there was a lot of reputation then about the Stones, you know, travelling around the world, you know, having a pretty high life. You sure you didn't see the first one under a few glasses of wine or something?
No, I was packing the children's clothes and we were leaving the next day. I was completely sober.
Well, I mean, as you said, Joe, your podcast is very successful, isn't it? And lots of celebrities have agreed to speak to you about it, and because they also share your belief. I mean, who have been the most surprising people that have sort of said, yeah, I've seen something, or I believe?
Dan Aykroyd, Robbie Williams, who else I suppose? Sean Ryder. Well, maybe that's a little bit.
I think you've just proved Gloria's point on that one, Joe.
I've spoken to the woman who runs MUFON, which is where people report sightings. I've spoken to abductees. People have actually been abducted. And who am I to say that they haven't when they really believe something?
Wow.
Right.
Well, listen, Joe, thank you very much for spending time with us. I mean, I know there are so many people that are fascinated by this area, have a huge belief in this area. As you probably tell, Janet and I are a little bit more sceptical, but who knows? Who knows? It's all out. Is it all out there? I don't know.